If you guys are looking for the best jerseys for the best prices, make sure you guys go check out Jaden's Jerseys. We have all your favorite teams in NBA, NFL, MLB, and college football and basketball. Best prices and the best quality. So make sure you guys go check out all of our selections at Jaden's Jerseys right now.
Welcome in, guys, to another episode of the TPT Podcast. Today I'm going to give you my 5 reasons why the Kansas City Chiefs will reign victorious over the Detroit Lions this upcoming Thursday. This is the TPT Podcast.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the TPT Podcast. The TPT Podcast.
Well, guys, it's Monday. The Kansas City Chiefs play in just a couple days. We've waited all offseason for this. It's time to finally lift the banner and play the Detroit Lions for the first game of the NFL season. We haven't talked since the 53-man roster came out, but the Kansas City Chiefs are looking deeper than they've ever have since at least I've been a Kansas City Chiefs fan. From wide receiver to quarterback room to the tight ends to even the defensive backs. I think this is the deepest room the Kansas City Chiefs have ever had. That's why I think this is going to be such a big reason why the Kansas City Chiefs are able to beat the Detroit Lions this upcoming Thursday. And the first thing I wanted to get into and why the Kansas City Chiefs can go and beat the Detroit Lions is number 5, the depth at receiver. I know we talked about what receivers were going to make it, what receivers weren't going to make it. Well, the Chiefs ended up keeping 7 receivers. They ended up shipping Amir Marset to the Carolina Panthers. And now they have 7 receivers. You have Justin Ross, you have Justin Watson, Kadarius Toney, you have MVS, you have Richie James. So you have a pretty stacked wide receiver core. This is the deepest their wide receiver core. Now it's just about they have the quantity. Now they just need the quality. And my thing is, I think they are going to have the quality as well. Like I just said, they have the 7-6 guys. I don't know if they're going to dress 7 guys every week. They'll probably end up dressing 6 to 5 guys every week. So that's either going to leave one guy on inactives most weeks. But again, that's just the price you have to pay with a wide receiver room that's just deep like this. And I think that's one of the reasons they're going to be able to attack the Detroit Lions is the Detroit Lions are not deep at corner. Right now, Mosley is going to be out for them. So they're not going to be as deep at corner. I think the Kansas City Chiefs can exploit that, and they're not just going to win with just one guy like Sky Moore or MVS or anything like that. I think they're going to use their wide receiver room collectively. They're going to use Kadarius Toney. They're going to use MVS. They're going to use Sky Moore. I think they're even going to find a way to use Justin Ross and Richie James. I feel like, and even Richie James, a guy who, again, I think is very good. I think he can be a big part in special teams coming over here from the Giants where he had like 600-700 yards, something like that. Coming over here, he's going to be like the 4th, 5th option. That's a big deal where you have a guy who's very productive with the Giants coming over here as your 4th, 5th option. I know the Detroit Lions also have a guy like Cameron Sutton. You can take him away with either Richie James or MVS, whoever he may be up against. But I still think the Chiefs wide receiver room is going to be much deeper than the Detroit Lions cornerback room. So that's my 5th reason on why the Kansas City Chiefs are able to beat the Detroit Lions is number 5, depth at receiver. Number 4, winning in the trenches. There's going to be trench warfare out there on Thursday. Detroit Lions, do not get me wrong, they have one of the best offensive lines in the league. I just think the difference in this is you may have a good offensive line, but you don't have a mobile guy like Patrick Mahomes. If the Kansas City Chiefs can show just a little bit of pressure, we know that Chris Jones is not going to be there. Chris Jones is not going to probably play for the first couple of games, so he's not going to practice. Even if they get a deal done today, Chris Jones will not play that Week 1 game for the Chiefs. Probably won't even play in Jacksonville versus Trevor Lawrence. But nonetheless, they still have a lot of good playmakers on that defensive line. And I think a guy like George Karlaftis and Felix Udeke-Uzomah, they're going to have to try to get home. I know they're younger guys, but we also know Spags has guys like Drew Tranquill, and he has Nick Bolton, Willie Gay, and Snead, who is a great blitzing safety. He can try to come up with schemes to get to the Detroit Lions offensive line. They have one of the best offensive line in the league, but nonetheless, I think Spagnuolo is going to be ready to get after this Detroit Lions offensive line. And vice versa, our offensive line, a lot of people are concerned about Donovan Smith coming over from the Bucs. That, oh my goodness, Jade, he just was one of the worst tackles in the league. He's looked great all preseason long, in my opinion. You also have a guy in Juwan Taylor who's looked great all preseason long. Like Patrick Mahomes said, he has not been touched. His jersey has been clean. Patrick Mahomes has barely even been pressured in this preseason. I know it's not a lot of snaps, but he still looked good when they had him out there. So I'm not too concerned about Hutchinson and some of these other guys getting to Mahomes. I will say this, the Detroit Lions will be ready for this first quarter versus the Kansas City Chiefs. They're coming in. They're going to want to spoil the Chiefs' night that first quarter. They're going to come in hot, all juiced up. But at the end of the day, when all this smoke clears and all the bullets have been fired from the Detroit Lions, there's going to be one guy standing there in the later portion of the game, and that's going to be Patrick Mahomes. And the team with the experience, the team that has been the winningest team the last couple of years in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs, are going to be ready blow for blow for the Detroit Lions, especially on their defensive line. So I have no concerns in trench warfare on Thursday for my number 4 reason why the Kansas City Chiefs can get it done versus the Detroit Lions. Number 3 on reasons why the Kansas City Chiefs will beat the Detroit Lions in Week 1 is receivers. The receivers for the Detroit Lions. I just talked about how deep the Kansas City Chiefs receiving room is. You can't say much about the Detroit Lions. Outside of St. Brown, there's not a lot there. Josh Reynolds would be the secondary guy. I'm not too worried about Josh Reynolds in this game versus the Kansas City Chiefs. If Trent McDuffie or L'Jarius Sneed can figure out how to shut down St. Brown, that's it. They don't really have much at tight end. They have a rookie tight end that's going to be out there. So that's why, again, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're having all their second-year players come back, or I should say all their rookie players come back to their second year. You have Trent McDuffie, Joshua Williams, Jalen Williams. So you're going to have all of these cornerbacks from last year. Actually, Jalen Watson. You're going to have all these cornerbacks from last year come back in year 2. Second year under Spagnuolo, when they were thrown out in the fire all season long last year. There was a lot of times last year where Steve Spagnuolo was criticized for why are these rookies in press coverage? Why are they putting these rookies out on islands? It's for seasons just like this season, so they don't have a sophomore slump. So they are ready to go versus the Detroit Lions, and they can go out there and be ready to go versus a veteran guy like Jared Goff, so they can be ready. Whatever ball's thrown their way, they're going to be ready. I think Trent McDuffie is going to do a great job like a guy versus St. Brown. He did a great job in the postseason versus a guy like Jamar Chase. Even a guy like A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown wasn't just getting so many deep balls or something. He had plays here and there. He had one deep pass, I think, versus Trent McDuffie. But I expect big things from Trent McDuffie year 2. I just think the cornerback room right now for the Kansas City Chiefs is just a little bit better than the Detroit Lions. Yes, they have Sutton. Yes, they have Mosley. Mosley will be on a snap count. Cameron Sutton, I'm not too worried about. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I don't even know if he'll be out there. He's hurt. He may be on a snap count. So I look for the Detroit Lions secondary to struggle versus the Kansas City Chiefs wide receivers. That's my number 3 reason why the Kansas City Chiefs will win versus the Detroit Lions. And, of course, number 2, the Hall of Famer himself, Travis Kelce. In my opinion, we just talked about how the Detroit Lions secondary may struggle versus the Kansas City Chiefs receivers. If those cornerbacks for Detroit stop the Kansas City Chiefs receivers, there's one guy can guarantee you the safeties and the cornerbacks aren't going to stop, and that's going to be Patrick Mahomes. I see a lot of Detroit fans saying that they may put even Branch on him. They may put Campbell on him. I don't think either of those guys are going to be able to stop a guy like Travis Kelce or even slow down a guy like Travis Kelce. Because, yeah, you can only slow a guy down like Travis Kelce, but it's Travis Kelce. I think Travis Kelce ends this game with 2 touchdowns, and Detroit's gonna really struggle trying to find ways to stop Travis Kelce. Again, there's a lot of teams that over the past has found ways to stop Travis Kelce or slow him down. I think a team like the Bengals have even done a great job slowing a guy like Travis Kelce down. The New England Patriots have done a great job trying to slow down a guy like Travis Kelce. But I do not see the Detroit Lions finding a way to put on a guy like Jack Campbell or Branch or C.J. Gardner-Johnson, those type of guys. Because what makes Travis Kelce so good is he's too big for a corner or most safeties, and he's too fast or too mobile as a tight end, like a receiver, for a linebacker. So that's what makes guarding Kelce so difficult. So I think Dan Campbell's really going to have to come up with some schemes to try to slow down Travis Kelce. But that's the biggest thing, is I think Travis Kelce is going to have a big game. We know Travis Kelce gets really fired up for these games in Arrowhead, especially when it's the emotion. It's going to be, like I said, the banner's going up, and it's going to be the Chiefs fans seeing that they're the 2023 Super Bowl champs. 2022 Super Bowl champs. They're going to be electric in Arrowhead, because we got to remember, in 2020, the Chiefs fans were not in Arrowhead because of the COVID year. So now they're going to be able to celebrate their team in Arrowhead with the players in Arrowhead. So I think Travis Kelce is going to be hyped up and ready to go versus these linebackers and safeties for the Detroit Lions. And that's my number 2 reason why the Kansas City Chiefs could get a win versus the Detroit Lions. And number 1, no surprise here, Week 1 games. Go back and look at the last 5 Week 1 games. The Kansas City Chiefs have dominated in Week 1 games, averaging more than 30 points a game in Week 1 games. Only one of the games the last 5 years has the Kansas City Chiefs even came close to the last couple of years when it was Week 1 games. There's only been a one-score game the last 5 years. The Kansas City Chiefs have just been absolute dominant. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, when it comes to Week 1, they're just ready to go. They get the whole offseason to scheme up things. And Patrick Mahomes is a different animal Week 1. He's been absolutely brilliant in his career Week 1. He has not lost a Week 1 game in his NFL career. And I don't think the Detroit Lions are going to be able to stop him in his Week 1 game this season. Some people may be Super Bowl slump. I don't think so for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they go in on championship night, and the Detroit Lions are going to be looking to spoil, but I don't think there's any spoiled here. No spoiled milk. I think the Kansas City Chiefs come out on top. Patrick Mahomes goes off for 3 touchdowns and runs one in. I think the Kansas City Chiefs go up big, and they win by 17. Let me know what you guys think, how much points you guys think the Chiefs are going to win by, or if you think the Chiefs are going to win at all. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think the 5 things are to stop this Detroit Lions team and beat the Lions on Banner Night. We will see you guys next time on the TPT podcast. Until next time, guys, go Chiefs.